Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 309 of the Hoots podcast. It's Thursday, May 12th, 2022. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far. First off, I want to say congratulations again to my cousin Vince and my newest cousin Michelle on their wedding. Glad I was able to be there this past Friday in Rosemont to celebrate that with everybody. It was really nice to see everybody. It was a really special night. I'm very glad to welcome Michelle into the family, and of course, their lovely daughter Amelia, who was there too. It was a great night. I haven't been to a wedding since my high school days. It was really fun, and it was a really great night. So I wanted to get that off my chest really quick. Secondly, least important here, but again, I want to say a big shout out to everybody who wished me a happy birthday the other day. That was very nice. It didn't go unnoticed. Last week was a blur, and I guess it took me out literally because I haven't been feeling that great since my birthday. But those birthday wishes really did mean a lot. So I just want to say thank you. What else do we have to say here? Of course, we got WrestleMania Backlash that we got to get to in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And by the way, a big shout out to all of our listeners because last week's episode of the Hoots podcast is officially the most listened to edition of the Hoots podcast.
That's awesome. Well, Josh, we know why that is. We know why that is.
Do we?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about why that is here in just a moment.
Yes. Over 15,000 listeners for last week's episode.
Wow, that's awesome.
Pretty cool. So thank you guys so much for checking out the episode. And if this is your first time listening or watching us, we're also live on YouTube, youtube.com/Who's Podcast. Make sure to smash that subscribe button and like it. We are 8 subscribers away from reaching 200 on YouTube. So if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would really mean a lot to us. And also, leave some reviews on Apple Podcasts if that's the platform you choose to use to listen to podcasts and stuff. So got those plugs out of the way. Also make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. And lastly, sir, not least, you can follow me at Twitter and Instagram if you like at Josh Lopez Media and at Josh Lopez Music to see my guitar covers. I am alongside of the director of operations, the royal of all royal masters himself, Sir Derico.
Thank you. I feel like we need to have the applause sound effect queued up whenever I get introduced. But great to be back.
I think maybe you can pull that off when you host the show next week.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But yes, so glad to be here back on the Hoots podcast. You know, I don't think there's any surprise or should be any correlation or whatever, because the most downloaded episode of the Hoots podcast, the most listened to episode of the Hoots podcast, featured the return of the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the people's choice, the people's champ, the best of all time, baby. The brother Carter of all brother Carters, the director of all the operations, was back live, and he's back with you this week for 2 weeks in a row. Glad to be back. Josh, we got a lot to get into this week. Really excited about talking about all the wonderful stuff that's happened this week in the world of professional wrestling.
So much to discuss. Where do we start?
Well, it's like the time the common people paid me to make fun of me when I had that job up in Utica.
That's true. Coming up next week, I will not be on the program next week. Brother Carl will be taking over duties for next week. So for those who are watching or listening this week, if you want to participate on the Hoots podcast, you can reach out to Brother Carter, and I'll give Brother Carter free reign to do what he wants when it comes to recording times and schedule. It's all flexible to their time when they want to do it. So it's your opportunity to come out of Hoots podcast and shoot the shit with us. We try to not take wrestling too seriously. It's a platform for people to mentally escape and just have some good conversations instead for sitting in the back porch, just hanging out and stuff. So that's the vibe of the Hoots podcast. So if you want to come on and be part of next week's episode, even though I won't be on there, you still can come out and hang out with Brother Carter, and it'll be a damn good time, pal.
We're gonna have a good time. Is this your Josh? I was thinking about this today. Was this your first break from the Hoots podcast, or have you ever in the 6 years that the show has been on, have you missed an episode?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
No.
You are overdue for a vacation, my friend. No.
Yeah, I wish I had the funds to actually go on a vacation
No,
next
I
week.
know it. I feel you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm breaking the bank to do some traveling this summer myself, but fortunately, I guess now I'm not it's not just my decision anymore. So gotta keep the I'll say you gotta keep the waterfall happy because it is you've seen photos, Josh. It's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Speaking of waterfall game, Josh, we have a lot to get into when we get into this week in WWE. Some good returns this week, and looking forward to discussing all the things this week.
oh yes, and also got to talk about Eric Bischoff and CM Punk going.
Oh, I saw this
on
I
Twitter.
saw it. Well, dude, your boy. Well, we'll get into it when we get into the flagship segment, Josh. But I have no idea what the hell your boy is doing. That was weird last night.
So, can you tell me what the hell is going on in that company in general?
There's one feud
I
in that.
I can't even say what the hell is wrong with AEW. It's like I can't even tell you what's going on in AEW.
There's one feud in that company that I care about, Josh. And after the next pay-per-view, I will have no reason to care about anything in that company, but we will get into that in about an hour's time.
Oh, they have the Forbidden Door.
Oh, God.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Yes, let's start off with the Good Birds Q&A session as we usually do here on the podcast each week. You can send us questions there at Josh Lopez Media or Derek Stoughton. Start off with Chris here at Chris Zaletta, XTZaletta24X on Twitter. First question here, he says, what up, Uso? Here's a question for the Q&A this week. Who should be the top running back taken in fantasy football this season? I'll deflect to Brother Carter because he's more into it, fantasy football than I am. Who would you have?
There's one option. He plays for the Tennessee Titans. His name is Derrick Henry. He's got a great name. He spells it wrong, but he's got a great name. I think he's going to be so coming off last season with the injury that kind of derailed him. I think like 7 games through the season, he had obviously achieved unbelievable numbers when it comes to running back yards. He got hurt for the next 6 or 7 weeks. He still, like over this, like 7 or 8 weeks later, he still had the most running yards in the NFL, which is crazy to think about. He's going to be hungry. Tennessee's going to be on fire because I don't know if they obviously they got rid of AJ Brown, so I don't know what's happening with that, but they're clearly all in on Derrick Henry because they've drafted some sort of wide receiver. We'll see if he plays out, but I've got Derrick Henry. I think he's going to have a monster year next year.
I think over the years you would probably say Christian McCaffrey by default, but he's so injury prone. I can't really.
We don't know. We don't know what he can actually do. And
no, I'd probably say maybe Dalvin Cook or Najee Harris for the Steelers. That could probably be my 2 picks there.
Those are good choices. Jonathan Taylor, he had a great season last year. I think he'll be back and ready to go next year. So, yeah, I've got some good options for sure.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, Nick Chubb as well.
Oh, yeah, of course. Though it's clear that, and Josh, I know you cover it, sports as well when you're doing the sports drive, but it seems to me the NFL is going to a much, much more passing league because 17 wide receivers were drafted alone. Like in the first couple of rounds. I mean, they're clearly all in on wide receivers. So I don't know.
Yeah, it may be a passing league now, but they're going to have a rude awakening because defense always wins football at the end.
The defensive coordinators will figure it out. They'll just up their pass defense and run a more, kind of spread open defense, but we'll see.
All right. Next question. Thoughts on Juice Robinson joining the Bullet Club? Oh, I feel bad for him. Here's the thing, and I've covered a lot more Juice work, more obviously because I covered New Japan. I see a lot of his work and stuff like that. And as much as I've been done and just fatigued with the Bullet Club for the last 5 years, let alone the 10 years this damn group has been around, it's not going anywhere, unfortunately. And You can add Juice Robinson. You can add Bryan Danielson. You can add John Moxley. You can add the Invisible Hand. You can Don Callis.
Oh
You know,
God.
you can even add the Disco Inferno if you want. I'm still not going to give a shit about the Bullet Club. So I don't know how this benefits Juice Robinson. That guy's a strange cat, you know. Like one moment he sees a retirement, then this to be a ruse. I don't know how dangling a retirement angle just to turn heel it makes you more interesting. It doesn't, in my opinion. I'm not gonna take away from the guy because he is talented in what he does in the ring, and I enjoy his work. But yeah, I say less is more with Bullet Club. They don't need more members.
Jay White's still the leader of Bullet Club right now, isn't he?
Who even knows at this point? Is Olivier still around? You need to put an APV out for him. Where is he?
Josh, don't say that. Don't say that because he may actually come back. And I won't be surprised if we see him in 2 weeks at the Revolution pay-per-view somehow get involved.
Car, you know it's inedible.
I know. We've enjoyed this time away from Twinkle Toes, but
Twinkle Toes.
But Josh, I don't know if we got a question about this. Are you done with what you're doing? Yeah. I don't know if we got a question about this, but have you heard or do you have any thoughts on the Kota Ibushi New Japan drama? Have you heard about this?
I don't think I got a question about that yet.
Okay.
Like a look here really quick. Here. No, we did.
Okay.
I don't have all the details on the situation. All I know is that Kota Ibushi's been having a bad luck of injuries that stemmed from the G1 last year, basically, and missed out on his opportunity to main event the Tokyo Dome back in January. So that's where it all started there. Originally, Ibushi was to come back for the New Japan Cup and win the thing, and then right before the tour started, they're like, New Japan put it out that he still has minor setbacks in his recovery, so they decided to cancel him for the entire tour. Now, Bushi's also had a couple of run-ins with COVID over the past year or so, and it's just, I think there's a lot of internal and external frustration coming out from Kota Ibushi. I don't know what that means for him because he seems like a guy that's been dedicated just domestically for New Japan. And obviously, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I've been seeing him on television. It's just the poor guy can't catch a break. So I don't know if it's something where he would want to ask for his release. I don't know how that works in New Japan. So it's an interesting situation to keep tabs on.
Mm-hmm. Right. But yeah, so I guess the thing that I was most concerned about, Josh, in the reports I read, and again, this is all just rumors right now. We don't know what's going on. Some fans have been confused, and I don't know if there was some translation errors, but he had talked about potentially there being a hostile work environment and saying things like there may have been sexual harassment and stuff like that. Obviously, I hope that's not true. But if it is, then they need to dig further into that. So I just don't know if there was some mistranslations because he had tweeted out some things in Japanese. And so that's what concerns me most, not the injury situation. Obviously, they shouldn't rush him back because we all know how good Ibushi is. But so that would be the thing I'd most be concerned about.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. Next question. Who wins the best? Well, the next two questions are kind of coinciding with my answer to this, but 1 second here.
You're good. Josh taking the swig of water. It's important.
Who wins the Best in Super Juniors Cup? And also thoughts on the Fatal 4-Way IWGP US title match on Saturday. Well, I'll have to answer that because we have a segment dedicated to that later on. It's not the AEW segment. It'll be after this week in WWE. So I'll say hold on to that. Okay. But Mark Carter, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What would you say is more interesting right now? The NBA or the NHL playoffs?
Ooh. Probably the NHL playoffs, I think. I think that the NBA is just so, it's kind of predictable. Well, I say that, but now we don't know because there's a lot of teams. The super teams have gone down, so it's hard to say. It seems like the NHL playoffs are getting a lot more buzz than they have in recent years, and I don't know if that's because ESPN has been picking them up. And we're seeing more coverage, not only on the main networks, but on ESPN Plus and on their social media channels. So it seems like we're getting more coverage on that. So to me, I think there's just a renewed sense of excitement with the NHL playoffs. So I would have to say they're more important. They're kind of more exciting right now. With the NBA playoffs, now it's interesting because the Lakers are out. The Brooklyn Nets are out, which means there's no LeBron James. There's no James. Well, James Harden's still in because he got traded, but there's no LeBron. There's no Anthony Davis. There's no, those folks out west. Out east, there's no KD. There's no Kyrie. No Ben Simmons. Well, there was never Ben Simmons anyway. So I think it's a little more up for grabs. It sucks seeing Ja Morant got hurt. It looks like he might be out now for the rest of the playoffs, which sucks because Ja Morant is an incredible talent. I remember seeing him in college and thinking, wow. And he played at an FCS school at a mid-major school. So to see him rise to superstardom has been great with that. So to me, the NBA playoffs are up for grabs, but I think just because there's more excitement amongst the NHL playoffs, I think that they have a little bit more excitement to them right now.
Yeah, I'll probably go with hockey playoffs. I just think the NBA, the way it's produced now, is kind of meh for me. I'm not really into the commentators that they have for the NBA anymore either. Well, unless we have to hear Charles Barkley post game, that's where the entertainment starts.
Oh my God, dude! Barkley is so. You've had a chance to meet my brother. Him and I have been texting back and forth. He loves Inside the NBA. If you haven't seen it, Inside the NBA is hilarious. Especially the EJ's Nito stat of the night is always great. So it's awesome.
I saw a video of him on YouTube a couple months ago. He's like, gotta keep Zion away from the beignets. Oh man. Yeah. Real quick, going back to those questions.
Yeah.
Chris, I wanted to expand on that and give it more time than just rushing out a quick guess answer, Mm-hmm. So I will talk about the Super Juniors and the Capital Collision show when we get to it later on in the podcast.
Great.
All right, let's go to the next one. Who do you think is the next member? Who do you think the next member of Judgment Day could be?
My initial answer to that would either be Tommaso Ciampa or eventually Finn Balor. I could see Finn Balor turning on AJ and, kind of bringing back his kind of demonic Prince Devitt character, kind of getting into demon territory. I think that'd be a good rub for Finn Balor, who has been, we obviously know how talented Finn Balor is in the ring. Like, he's one of the best in the ring, but I think his character has just been lacking some direction. So I could see either Tommaso Ciampa or Finn Balor joining Edge's group, which, by the way, this group has been awesome. Like, when Rhea Ripley joined, that's a game changer for them. So props to WWE for making that happen.
Well, anytime you have a group that's bothering Brian Alvarez, I think you're on the right track.
Does Alvarez not like them?
No. He says the Edge relies on cheap heat and going after fans.
Oh,
well, I'm sorry, Alvarez, that your fans are the most fucking paranoid crybabies on God's green earth.
Dude,
they do deserve to be ripped.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, like, okay, so you're talking about fans being crybabies or whatever. Look at the elite, your boys, like the elite. Like, talk about like making fun of the fans and making fun of Adam Cole. That's kind of his shtick. And then, of course, with AEW, you got MJF. He makes fun of the fans all the time, and it works. So it's Brian Alvarez is a fucking moron. I'm just gonna say it. He is a moron.
You can say it. All right. For me, I think I can see Tommaso Ciampa more than Finn Balor, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Well, you can't really put Kevin Owens in Judgment Day. He's already a heel, I guess.
Well, that doesn't that that character I don't think works for that group.
Right. What if Ezekiel joins Judgment Day and then Elias comes out?
That
real judgment.
That would actually be really funny.
Yes.
That would be hilarious. Is there anybody from NXT that could jump up and make the?
Oh, that's a good question.
Maybe the guy who's challenging Braun Breaker right now. He's Joe
Gacy.
Joe Gacy, yeah. After he's done, because it sounds like he's creating some terror in NXT. You know, kidnapping Rick Steiner and all that stuff. So maybe he's got a bit of a dark side in him.
Possibly, I could see that for sure.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you who else could be a surprise, Josh. And I'm just going to throw this out there: Baron Corbin. Like after he's done with the Madcap Moss thing, like Madcap Moss kind of derailed him, and he goes back to before he became Happy Corbin and all that stuff. You know, where he had that kind of dark, sinister character. That could be interesting too.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I think Ali would be for that group.
That'd be great too.
Yes, Mustafa Ali. All right.
By the way, internet, he's not getting buried. Relax.
Oh God, they're starting that crap. Do you like the idea of Sonya Deville maybe joining Judgment Day? I don't see how her personality fits with that group.
Yeah, me neither. I don't. I will say, and we'll get to this when we get to this week in WWE. I'm glad she's just a performer again and not an authority.
You got your wish. You see what happens when patience is practiced? No.
It's not like AEW where they blow their load every week and basically ruined professional wrestling. But yeah, no, I don't think Sonya Deville will fits with that group.
No, I don't either. Let's go to the next set of questions from our good brother show, rated PWF, Mr. Patrick Fritz himself. First off, he says, comments on Tom Brady joining Fox after he retires. Let's start with Brooke Carter.
I mean, good for him. He's getting $37.5 million a year to call football games as a lead analyst. I mean, God bless him for being able to do that. I think he'll be great. Obviously, he's a natural. Obviously, he's the GOAT, and that's undisputed. And I think he obviously has a great football mind. He's great in front of the cameras, got a great look, brings even more instant credibility to the Fox's broadcast team. And they need to do something now that Joe Buck is with ESPN. So I think it's a good move by Fox. Props for Tom Brady for getting more of that money. He's going to be a billionaire if he's not already.
It's just wild to see how much money these announcers make. Even more than currently signed athletes. I just think it's insane to me.
Well, the money the TV money that they're generating in from these pre-shows is
crazy. Can I have at least like 2% of?
Right, exactly. Can I do one segment a week on that show? I'd be perfectly fine.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a great gift for Fox, obviously, to get Brady's insight. Now, I did get a chance to watch the Man in the Arena series that he did, like the documentary series.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I could tell, he's a good orator. Like, he knows how to speak and stuff. And, obviously you get to pick the brain of the greatest quarterback of all time. So, obviously, you can't go wrong with that. Sometimes I kind of hit and miss with Kevin Burkhardt. Sometimes I think he's a little bit over the top. Then other times I think he's trying to be passive aggressive. But I think it's a good gift for Fox. And obviously the contract is due for a guy of his caliber. So obviously it's a big deal. It's a big investment. And I know there was talks about Peyton Manning possibly doing commentary or something like that on Monday Night Football a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But to get Tom Brady, like, to say for sure that's going to happen when he retires, I think that's a pretty big gift for them. So I think that's pretty cool.
Agreed.
All right, next question. This has been a big topic this week. Do you think the Big Oos continues to hold 2 titles through the end of the year?
Josh, you go first on this one.
Oh boy. I say no. I believe the tribal chief will lose the WWE championship to Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam in Nashville.
Hmm.
Jeff Jarrett will win this title in
Dude,
Nashville.
you know what, Josh? We'll get into this in This Week in WWE. He doesn't get that moniker anymore. He's
I know,
shed.
I'm just busting shots.
Yeah, he has shed that 100%. We'll get into that.
Spend my days working for
The King of the Mountain. Yeah, Josh, I agree with you that he's not going to hold. I don't think they can hold out the Cody Rhodes thing until WrestleMania of next year. I just don't think they can wait that long. Now, the question to me is, does Cody Rhodes get it through Money in the Bank? Because I don't think he needs the Money in the Bank contract to get a title match.
Well, I think with this character, he could.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a good way. It's hard because then
Never won Money in the Bank before.
Yeah, I mean,
he's not going to be a part-time talent. That's not the deal he's on right now. So I don't see why he couldn't.
I guess that'd be the easiest way. And then him saying, I'm not going to, then him saying, I'm not going to waste my, I'm not going to do a bullshit cash in. I'm going to announce that I am challenging for the title right now at SummerSlam. I can see that.
Right. Well, let's look at it, especially that first night after WrestleMania at the Raw, right? And he was talking about how his dad missed out the opportunity of holding the WWE title at Madison Square Garden. And they're just teasing that tickets for the Madison Square Garden show on July 25th for Raw is coming out on tomorrow. And they had Cody Rhodes talk about, the Rhodes family at Madison Square Garden. I think that's more time apropos going into SummerSlam that Cody would be going towards the tribal chief. So,
right.
My money's for sure that Cody Rhodes will beat Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
And that's the way to get a world title back on Raw, because right now, I mean, the main title, I guess, right now is the United States title. So I guess you could say that Theory is the top guy on Raw right now, because he's got the highest title on the show.
Yeah, take that, haters.
Right.
Put some respect on Austin Theory's name. Damn it.
Absolutely. Dude, they are, and we'll get into this too, but boy, they are grooming him to be a world champion. There's no doubt about it. Theory is the chosen one.
All right, Pat, thank you for the questions this week.
Always good to hear from you, brother.
All right, our last set of questions here come from Nate the Great at Psycho Nagiri. Make sure to
Love
follow
Nate the Great.
Yep. First question, he says here, what are a few matches? I'm laughing because I know Bret Hart's match is going to be. What are a few matches you would like to see at the Forbidden Door? Oh man,
I don't care. God. I mean, if it means seeing, Tanahashi or Ibushi or something like that, fine, because I don't get a chance to watch him that often. Or Will Ospreay, I'd be okay seeing. We're probably going to get a Will Ospreay John Moxley match, I would think.
Hopefully not.
But I mean, Will Ospreay is very talented, no question.
No, I know. I think I just seen that match in Chicago. Right. It's not that the match is bad, but they had their match in April.
Mm-hmm.
They're having one on Saturday, the Fatal 4-Way match that I was asked about earlier. I just wouldn't want to see a third one already.
We'll probably get some dream tag match with the Young Bucks against Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. or something like that, where they have a trampoline tumble fest and everyone goes batshit crazy for every move.
Right.
Because the AEW fans think that every single match on their television screen is a WrestleMania main event. So I assume we'll see Will Ospreay. I assume we'll see Zack Sabre Jr. and Ibushi and Tanahashi and whoever else. Yeah. We'll probably see like some 24-man tag between Bullet Club and like AEW's Finest or whatever. I don't know.
Yes. Oh God, I can see it right now. Dante Martin, Varsity Blondes, Lee Moriarty and Matt Sydal. That's fine. Taking on El Desperado, Canamero, Doki, Taichi, and Minoru Suzuki. I don't know. God, this. By the way, you know how Tony Khan does like those like mini speeches before the shows go on air or off air?
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, if he starts like a Forbidden Door chant, my lord, Forbidden Door. You know, I'll answer the question. You know, I have a couple that I mapped out already. One for me is Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi. That's one for me. Okada against CM Punk would be my main event.
That'd be cool.
Yep. And then I'll go with I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to get so much crap for it. All right, here we go. Returning Olivier against Ishii.
Why would you insist that anybody wants to see Kenny Omega?
I want Ishii to have a big match on that show instead of being relegated to a tag match. And if this is their way to bring Olivier back to television, I guess that's how they would do it.
Well, the crowd's going to go crazy.
They're going to try to do the whole Michael Jordan entrance, and I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
Because they're doing that in Chicago. They're going to do the Michael... but the crowd's going to go nuts because the AEW crowd thinks that company can do no wrong.
Yeah, of course they can. It's impossible.
Oh, God. Whatever.
Let's go to the next question here. Who's your early favorite to win the G1 this year? Good question. I'd probably go with Shingo.
Who?
Either Shingo or Jay White would be my pick. It's kind of toss up in the air. I mean, if Okada's the whole thing with New Japan this year is that they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. I want to add another notch to Okada's title reign so far this year. You know, it's very rare that a champion wins the G1 Climax tournament, which is kind of the charm of it because the champions get to participate in it. So as opposed to the Royal Rumble, if Okada wins, he gets to choose who he fights at Wrestle Kingdom. So kind of like how Charlotte was the SmackDown Women's Champion in the Rumble. If she would have won the Rumble, she got picked who she wanted to fight. You know, so that's how it works out.
Got it.
Yes. All right. Last question for the Q&A this week. How do you like Edge's new group so far?
I love it. It's awesome. It's putting him with Damian Priest was great. You add Rhea Ripley, and it's recipe for success. Edge is the man. Damian Priest is awesome. I texted this to you, Josh, but Damian Priest has not failed at anything during his time within the company, both in NXT and in WWE. I really hope Damian Priest gets a chance to be a world champion at some point because I think he deserves it. And Rhea Ripley, this is going to re-energize her career. So I love it. I think this is also going to make Liv Morgan a star. This whole even bigger of a star than she is. So I love this group. It's fantastic.
All right, folks. Thank you guys so much for participating in this week's edition of the Good Bros Q&A session. As always, you want to send us a question. More importantly, for next week, you can direct your questions to Brett Carter at Stoughton for the Q&A session.
Yep.
Coming up right now, we're going to get to what happened this week in WWE.
Awesome.
All right, guys, we're back here talking about what happened this week in WWE. I'm going to pass the floor off to Brother Carter as he lets us navigate what happened through WrestleMania Backlash first before we get to what happened this week on Raw and SmackDown.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, let's talk about WrestleMania Backlash, Josh. To me, Josh, WrestleMania Backlash over-delivered for sure. I know a lot of people thought this was just going to be kind of a blow-off pay-per-view. And in the past, I've understood that sentiment. But to me, Josh, this was one of the best nights of wrestling I have seen in a long time. It was terrific from top to bottom. There was only one match where I was just kind of like, oh, okay, fine. But I thought the rest of this show was absolutely incredible. So I thought we'd do is let's break it down. And let's go match by match here. And I want to start with the first match, Josh. This is the match I thought should have closed the show. I thought this should have been the main event. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Josh, as of today, this is my match of the year. This was, to me, was perfect in every way, shape, or form. Cody Rhodes is quickly moving up the ranks as my favorite professional wrestler in the world. I've got him right now behind the Tribal Chief as my number 2 favorite wrestler in the world. Because obviously we all need to bow down to the Tribal Chief. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Josh, I thought this match was flawless from top to bottom. And this is my match of the year candidate. Some people I've seen on the internet say, and I actually, don't have a problem with this, that Seth Rollins may be the best wrestler in the world right now with what he can do and how adaptable he is. But I thought this was perfect. I loved every single bit of it. And I'm just so happy that Cody Rhodes is finally, he's back. He's where he needs to be. He's thriving. He's flourishing. I loved every bit of this. What did you think of this match?
I thought the match was fantastic. I agree with you with your sense about it being one of the best matches of the year. I'm not really surprised though. Of course, it's one thing where Twitter gets in their fancies because Seth Rollins says something that they don't like, so they discredit his value in the ring. I've always known how good this guy has been. And it's just so ridiculous that they let comments. It's funny. There's a podcast that I listen to. They're like, why do WWE people got to bring up stuff from AEW when the interviewer asks them the question? It's not like the wrestlers bring up AEW on their own. You're answering a question. Like, it's so weird. It's like people try to find conspiracy loophole through everything these days. It's so fucking odd. But the match was fantastic. The counters and stuff like that. There was a spot towards the end where Cody was about to do he calls it the Din Fire, but it's kind of like a vertebreaker that Shane Helms used to do in WCW back in the day. That didn't work out. They do the whole Okada roll switch where people are holding their tights. Cody outsmarts Seth.
Yep.
You're going to pull my tights, I'm going to pull yours, pal.
Right.
1, 2, 3. We saw that played out. So for me, actually, I thought this was the proper way to start off the show because the entire day I noticed it was like, oh, I can't believe WrestleMania Backlash tonight. There's no excitement. And Twitter was just really odd one on Sunday, and it was just really annoying. It's like I noticed a lot of people were saying that just to get likes and retweets. Yet we all do. Those same people that are saying that we're gonna live tweet the entire show.
Of course.
Write down notes with a fucking binocular glass and notepad with them on their nightstand next to them. And I don't know, Brett Carter. Twitter sucks.
Oh, it's wrestling fans are the worst fans of any sport out there. I mean, they are the most critical. They're the most. You want to talk about fans who I can't even tell if they like the product. It's like they literally watch the product to bitch about it. And we do that a little bit too because we're on a wrestling podcast, but like we actually find enjoyment in the shows. Shocking, I know. And we hope that each show that we watch, no matter what the company, is a good show. We want it to be a good show. We go into it with high hopes that it will be a good show because we're wrestling fans. By and large, wrestling fans, they are the worst fans out of any sport in the world, I think anyways. But cool. All right, moving on. Next match was Omos versus Bobby Lashley. I mean, this was fine, I guess. The only thing I'll say about this is I thought Omos looked a lot better than I thought he would. I was a little bit like, okay, let's see what he does. Now, fortunately, he's working with Bobby Lashley, who's obviously a great worker. So that helps. But I thought this match was fine. It was what it was. But Omos is getting better, so that's good.
I think for me, my favorite part of the match was MVP.
Yeah.
Him talking crap to Bobby Lashley. It's not shade towards Omos, but once you start hearing his music, it's like nobody gives a shit when he comes out.
Oh, the crowd. Yeah.
Like I like the beat of his entrance song, but nobody gives a shit.
I was tweeting from the Wrestling Rumors accounts, and I was seeing that like the crowd was just completely dead for Omos. Like they don't care, which is, as we know, it's not good. It doesn't matter if you get a good reaction or a bad reaction, but you have to get a reaction.
Yes. I thought the way they mapped out the match card was good because you give your matches breathers in between, especially like a match like that to start off the show. You need like a cool down period after that. So I thought that was good for like match order structure. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep. Very good. Okay, going on. And we talked about this a bit in the Q&A session, but fantastic match with Edge and AJ Styles. No surprises there. Rhea Ripley joining Judgment Day is brilliant. I loved it, and we got a little bit of a taste of that more on Raw, which we'll get into here in a bit. But yeah, I thought this was a great match. Again, Rhea Ripley's joined the dark side. I loved it. So not too much more I think we can say about that, unless you have anything you want to add, Josh.
No, I love Edge's pants that he has, the new logos and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool. One thing also, Josh, I thought what was interesting about this show, the format-wise, you had the Raw stuff first, and we got all the Raw stuff out of the way, and then we went to the SmackDown portion of the show. So, you know, they didn't integrate like they usually do. So I don't know if this is a new format they're trying, but
cool. Here, Michael Cole is like, "Oh, now it's time for an A show to."
That was great. I was like, ooh, he's right. I mean, SmackDown is definitely the A show now, which did you ever think 5 years ago, Josh, we would say SmackDown was the A show?
Probably not.
Yeah. Crazy to think about. But okay. Getting down into the SmackDown portion of it. We had the I Quit match with Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Once again, Josh, we tout this to the moon. The two best female wrestlers in the world. And after that match, how can anybody argue any differently? That was fantastic. What a match. They delivered in it. Like, they used weapons and it made sense. What a concept. There was actually weapons used and it made sense. Wow. What a concept. This was unbelievable. What a war. Both women did an incredible job. They sold so well. This was my obviously second favorite match of the night, behind Rhodes and Rollins. But I love this, Josh, and it's the two best female wrestlers in the world, proving why they're the two best female wrestlers in the world. And I don't see how anybody can argue any differently.
I can't either. And here's the thing, like, we touted, and it's true. There's nobody who performs at a bigger level than Charlotte Flair when it comes to pay-per-views.
Correct.
Especially for matches that have less than zero expectations attached to it.
Yep.
All week, like, oh man, Providence, Rhode Island's gonna shit on this match. Oh, this is gonna be the worst match of the year. Oh my God, can they end this terrible feud already?
Yeah.
If it's really terrible, I wonder why she keeps delivering on pay-per-views. Kind of similar to the match she had with Rhea Ripley at last year's Money in the Bank, where the first part of the show when they're chanting for Becky Lynch and then they're chanting "This is awesome." By the way, there was a "This is awesome" chant during the match on Sunday. So you keep telling me that Charlotte Flair is overrated and she's not good, and she keeps pulling out matches like that.
Again, it's well, and you know who the originators of that are the fans of another performer in WWE, female performer who I think is overrated.
Yeah, the insecure attention clout chasers.
Exactly. Yeah. We just think, oh my God, how does I don't get what I'll just say I don't get what Sasha Banks fans have against Charlotte Flair. It's okay to like both superstars.
Yeah.
I like Charlotte. I mean, I like Sasha Banks. I call her overrated Banks because I think she is overrated in a lot of people's eyes. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that she's talented and a good wrestler and can deliver good promos. It's possible to like both superstars. That's what I don't get about Sasha Banks fans. Like, they think that, oh God, Charlotte's been buried because of, oh my God, she's whatever. Like, it's possible to like both. It's fine.
Yes. What we had after this?
Yes, let's move on. Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. Again, this match was fine. I think they need to go their separate ways, and I think Madcap Moss has done an incredible job of taking this gimmick and making it very entertaining. He's a great athlete, good performer. So I thought this match was fine. The ending was kind of weird. I think they had to edit. They had to do a quick finish because they realized that they were short on time. But I thought this match was fine, and I hope that they go their separate ways.
Well, there's one small thing for me that stood out that I thought that was missing for this match, and it was what happened on SmackDown last week, where Madcap was calling Baron Corbin Big Ball Wolf, and the crowd started chanting it. I thought it may be a small detail, it may not make a difference on how you feel about the overall match, but to get the crowd invested in between chanting Big Ball Wolf when he's doing these fucking half Nelson chin locks, just sitting there for 2.5 minutes while Moss is selling, you could, get under Corbin's skin by chanting that, and helps Moss get back on his feet or whatever. So I thought something like that was a little bit missing there, but I thought it served its purpose.
Yeah, it was fine. And now they can move on and go their separate ways. And now, Josh, we get to the main event where we can all bow down and acknowledge our tribal chief, our head of the table, our big dog, the undisputed best wrestler in the world right now.
The Draw.
Absolutely. The Draw. Right. Absolutely. This was a fantastic match. By the way, Pat McAfee and Corey Graves, dude, they were together on commentary, and I was looking forward to it. Man, McAfee showed, and Corey Graves was like struggling to hang on, I thought, a little bit on commentary with this match, which I was surprised about because I know I'm a big fan of Corey Graves, have been for a long time, but this just shows how natural McAfee is at commentary. He's fantastic. But anyways, what do we need to say, Josh? I mean, this was 6 incredible performers, incredible match from top to bottom. Riddle is absolutely ready to make that singles run for a world title. He's brilliant, though him with Randy Orton has surpassed all expectations. It's been fantastic. This was amazing. 6 incredible performers, all bowing down to the tribal chief. I loved it.
Well, how about this? Like, we had a trios match where the referee was made to look stupid. It's possible. In comments, we had a trios match that didn't make you start questioning your IQ, and it was in the main event of the show. How about that?
And a referee didn't try to put themselves over in the middle of the match.
Oh, yeah. That referee did not need VR goggles.
No. Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the Wrestling Playbook. It's on our YouTube channel.
And Josh, I made this statement. I actually wrote an opinion piece about this. Well, I didn't write an opinion piece about this, but I put it in an opinion piece I recently wrote on Wrestling Rumors, which everyone should go check out.
Yeah.
I think Josh, Roman Reigns has established himself in, and I use this term the way it's supposed to be used, truly elite territory. I have now put Roman Reigns in with Hogan, Austin, Rock, Taker, John Cena, Randy Orton. Roman Reigns is in that category. He has arrived and he has reached that level as elite talent and truly one of the best to ever do it of all time. I've got Reigns there now. And he's still got a bunch left in the tank, but Reigns has achieved elite level status and will go down as one of the top 10 of all time. No doubt.
Absolutely. The match was phenomenal to type out. First off, I love the match structure of all of it that went with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking about the whole thing, it's just This is fun. I mean, that one RKO that Randy Orton did to Roman Reigns while he's trying to do the Superman punch was sweet.
Yep.
All the chaos on the outside, and then obviously the Bloodline was not going to lose that match, so I thought that was cool. I think for me coming out of this pay-per-view, it's just so how gullible people were making out that freaking promo from the house show last week.
Oh, yeah.
If you want an example of what paranoid crybabies look like and gullible sheep look like, look at wrestling Twitter over the last couple of days, or just this week in general, regarding of whether Roman Reigns is going to make every single date on the live event calendar this year.
Right. But again, this is what wrestling Twitter and the dirt sheets do. And listen, I'm guilty of this too, because we report what the news is. So, but I read that and I was like, okay, so he said he may be going away for a while. Okay, fine. Every wrestler takes a break occasionally. He'll be back. It's fine. It's fine. So,
yes.
Anything else you want to say about WrestleMania Backlash, Josh?
I just thought it was a good pay-per-view, and these premium live events don't seem to disappoint. So next one's going to be Hell in a Cell here at the Rosemont Horizon, and series. Obviously, what came off of Raw this past Monday. Listen, we got some good stuff cooking up for that show as well.
That's awesome. Cannot wait. It's going to be terrific. Okay. Josh, do you want me to keep going, or do you want to take over for the Raw portion of this week in WWE?
I'll take it over.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we started off with RK Bro against the Street Profits for the Raw Tag Team titles.
Yep.
RK Bro retained. They still are hell-bent on getting that unification match. Kind of like how I mentioned last week, you still could do that match inside Hell in a Cell. I think that's probably the route they're going to go with, to be honest with you. So I had no problem with that. It's a good match to start off the show. I probably say that the Street Profits need to go to a different brand. And look, I get it. Bianca's on the same brand as Montez, and you know what? Separate them. All well, fine with that. But I don't know. It's going to be a while before those boys become the tag team champions, and something's got to change if they're not going to do this unification thing soon. So, although I thought it was a good way to start the show there. We had another part later on the show where Ezekiel was in the ring, and out comes Ken.
That was great. Kevin Owens needs a raise, man. Holy cow, he can do anything. But oh my God, he should go to AEW and be with his boys, the Elite, because of what they're doing with him in WWE. Give me a break.
Oh God, please stop. Stop the pain.
Yep. That was great. By the way, one thing I'll say about the tag match, Josh, the RKO out of the frog splash was a pretty cool spot. The way that Riddle jumped up and was able to catch him, I thought that was really cool. Good for him on that.
We were talking about Judgment Day earlier. I got a little bit of audio here. Let's play a little bit of the promo for this past Monday's Raw.
Great.
Judgment Day.
Yep.
All rise! I said, all rise! For the newest member of the Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley!
Joining Judgment Day was the easiest decision of my life. Edge, Damian, I saw the two of you change for the better, and I wanted that for myself. I'm done signing autographs at the airport for all the little kids that come running up to me saying they want to be just like me when they grow up. The next day, I go online and I see those same autographs being sold on eBay.
What?
I'm done being used.
Right.
And that is why I joined the Judgment Day.
Right.
Speaking of being used, I have some unfinished business to attend. Liv Morgan.
Damien, the punishment. Rhea, the eradicator. They were ships without a rudder. I am the rudder. I am their direction. They have taken their fate into their own hands. They are now my saints of fate. Yeah, listen up. Listen up. A few weeks ago, I pulled Rhea aside and I told her in my humble Hall of Fame opinion that Liv Morgan was holding her down. She was an albatross around her neck, an albatross the shape of a human-sized LOL doll. Poor little Liv.
Great line.
I'm the reason your favorite tag team split up. You're welcome.
I didn't realize the bloodline split up, Josh. Huh.
By the way, are you the rudder?
I am. Yes.
Podcast?
I am. Yes, I am the rudder of this podcast. I am the mast that keeps the ship afloat.
Okay.
Just add it to my list of things that I do, Josh. I'm director of operations, Sir Derico, the mast that keeps the ship afloat. Just add it to the things that I do for the Hoots podcast, the podcast that hoots.
Jack of all trades, master of none. No, I'm kidding.
Be careful there. This is still a performance evaluation, Josh. Just because I'm back 2 weeks in a row doesn't mean this ain't no performance evaluation. No. By the way, now if I'm hosting the show next week, are we going to flip it and you're going to be giving me a performance evaluation?
Well, that depends on the next video show you do together.
This is
That's
true.
the
This is true. So this was terrific, Josh. The only thing that I wish Rhea would have done is acknowledge the what chance. I think that could have helped, being like, what? Oh, what? Shut up, sheep, or something like that.
Right.
You know, I wish she would have acknowledged the what chance, but this was fantastic. I mean, what can you say? This is terrific, and Liv Morgan's going to become a big star out of this, I think.
Well, one thing we've been consistent about sharing here on the Hoots podcast is context.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what else happened really quick on Raw.
Last thing on that, real quick, Josh. I'm sorry. I'm really looking. I'm looking forward to the 6-person tag at Hell in a Cell that I think will be coming. Judgment Day versus Styles, Balor, and Liv Morgan. That's a great opportunity for Liv Morgan to work with these superstars. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. What was I going to say? Speaking of, you're talking about good waterfall. I agree with you. She may have lost a couple of waterfall points due to personal selections on her own accord, but that's okay. But it was very nice to see Alexa Bliss on my television screen this week. Yes. Very nice. Like you said, Sonya Deville is at her position as official for WWE. She is now a legal competitor.
Great. Fantastic. That's what she needs to be doing because she's great on the mic, great in the ring. I'm happy about that.
You know, going back to the stuff about Alvarez and what this week in Alvarez bitching, it's not really a big fan of the new Becky Lynch character.
What?
Yeah, he's like, gosh, she's so insufferable to listen to. And I thought it was pretty funny because Oscar here in the backstage was calling Becky a baby.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was so funny. Dude,
Yeah.
Oscar, yes. Oscar needs a raise too because she's coming back and killing it. But don't worry, Alvarez is probably thinks that somebody like Nyla Rose is the ultimate in that, you know, great, you know, if he says that, you know, Becky Lynch is a bad character, he's probably like, oh, but Nyla Rose is fantastic, who we haven't seen on TV in 2 months, and Vicky Guerrero going, excuse me! But
yeah, Ty Conti is relatable as a baby face.
oh god. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Maybe outside of her waterfall, but yeah.
But yeah, no, happy to see Alexa Bliss back, and it looks like she's going back to the Little Miss Bliss character, which is fine. I think it's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I was very, very excited to see Alexa Bliss back. I think that was great. The segment before that, Josh, by the way, Cedric Alexander keep trying to get back with MVP. I think is smart. I like that. And
Well,
him trying to do that.
Well, I think maybe Cedric and Shelton should line up with Bobby Lashley to go after Omos and MVP.
Maybe. Well, is Shelton even around, or is he quietly moved on?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. I got no idea. We're not gonna go over every semi here for Raw, but
okay.
Let's go to Cody Rhodes against Austin Theory for the United States Championship, which I thought was a pretty good match.
Yep.
Ended up being a DQ. Raw this past Monday, I thought it was a good show. I wouldn't say bad or anything like that, but I thought it was a solid show coming off the pay-per-view. And this was another one too. A lot of people say like Raw is bad depending on the finishes and matches, but people forget this is TV. You don't need clean finishes on TV every week. That's what people get misconstrued with AEW. Oh, we have these long, drawn-out 20-minute matches with a clean result. Okay. But you're going to see the same style match the next week. Is there going to be a difference in the evolution of those characters? Nope. Mm-hmm. But let's look here. Cody Rhodes gets cost the U.S. title by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins does the curb stop on the announce table after the match. Yep. Definitely held the sell territory for these two to wrap it up in Chi-Town. Your thoughts?
Yep, you said it all. This was a great match. I said before, WWE is clearly grooming Theory to be the next, kind of in the next couple of years to take that next step. It was a great match. I think I liked Theory mocking Stardust. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. I really thought that was great. And I'm looking forward to seeing this trio of matches complete inside Hell in a Cell. I think it's going to be a war, and it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see it.
All right. And lastly, the main event here, we had Bianca Belair against Asuka. This was a non-title match.
Right.
This one kind of ended off quickly. Becky Lynch obviously got her feelings. I mean, you kind of get that way when you have to deal with Byron Saxon's peppering question. So that it's into a DQ. I'm not sure this is maybe Becky's way of getting herself back into the title opportunity. I guess that's the crux of her issue with Asuka since she's come back. But it looks like to me, Brett, that they want to hold off a one-on-one match with Bianca and Asuka. Maybe they want to do a triple threat with these ladies at Hell in a Cell. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. I mean, they definitely need to do something to get all of them involved because if you think about it, the Raw women's roster is stacked. You've got Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Sonya Deville. If you want now, Alexa Bliss is back.
Yep.
Who else? I mean, I know they've been kind of pushed to the wayside, but Doudrop is talented. Nikki ASH is talented. Dana Brooke is talented. So the Raw women's roster is just stacked right now. So you've got to do something to get them all involved, I think, inside Hell of a Cell. And then you can have, a title match at Money in the Bank and a title match at SummerSlam, and it's fine. But a lot of people competing for the top spots right now.
Yes.
But, I thought it was great. My only thing was, Josh, I wish they would have gotten more time because it looks like they started this match when there was about 5 minutes left in the show. So you knew it was going to be quick. So that was the only thing. I wish they would have formatted the show a little better and given them a little more time, but they did the best that they could with 3 minutes. So it was what it was.
Hey, by the way, Brother Carter, did you hear that Chris Jericho has a Sports Entertainer Award each week on Rampage?
No.
Oh, this is news to you, huh? It's the Chris Jericho Sports Entertainer of the Week Award.
Are you serious? This is why I don't watch Rampage, Josh, because God.
I like to introduce the Hoots Podcast Waterfall of the Week. And,
yes.
The nomination this week is Sophia Cromwell from NXT.
Okay.
Type it in, boys. You'll not regret it.
All righty. Very good.
Before we wrap up this week in WWE, I'd like to say congratulations to NXT UK for celebrating their 200th episode today.
Awesome.
I covered every episode of NXT UK since the initial NXT UK Championship tournaments that they did in 2016. It's been an awesome ride covering the brand for the last 6 years or so. It's my favorite brand that WWE produces each week. And today we have Ilya Dragunov putting his NXT title on the line against Jordan Devlin. Hold up. We got this match going on with Dragunov and Jordan Devlin for the NXT UK title, and the loser of that match must leave NXT UK. So that should be pretty interesting how that plays out. Also, we got Ivy Nile against Nina Samuels. Also, have Gallus taking on Esther Smith and Oliver Carter. So we'll see how that works. But yeah, I just want to say a quick congratulations to NXT UK for celebrating 200 episodes, because it's been a brand that I've been enjoying covering for the last 6 years. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So salute and big shout out to NXT UK. Okay. That's going to wrap up what happened this week in WWE. But before we get to this week's main event, I got to let you guys know what's going on this weekend in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Coming up on Saturday, we got NJPW's Capital Collision. So, Chris Letta, if you're still listening, I'm going to answer your question here. We got a pay-per-view cut up on Fight TV from Washington, D.C. It's called Capital Collision. It's going to be taking place at the Entertainment and Sports Arena, which is also the same place that AEW held a I think a Dynamite there a few weeks ago. Anyway, here's the card for the show. We have Ren Narita against Carl Fredericks. Second match, a 10-man tag. It's Fred Rosser, Rocky Romero, David Finlay, Tonga Loa, and Yua Uemura taking on Team Filthies, Tom Lawler, West Coast Wrecking Crew, JR Kratos, and Danny Limelight. Third match of the card, the Great Khan taking on Chase Owens. We have an 8-man tag featuring the United Empire's Jeff Cobb, Aaron Henare, and Aussie Open against the Mighty Don't Kneel. We have Jonah, Shane Hayes, formerly known as Slapjack, Mikey Nichols, and Bandu Tito. That should be a pretty good match there. Here you go. The Fatal 4-Way match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Tanahashi put the title against Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, and Juice Robinson. I think Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to retain, Chris. Here's my answer to your question. So I think Tanahashi will retain in that matchup. Also on the card, we got Suzuki against Brody King. We got Ishii against Ed Kingston. And then the main event is going to be Okada and Trent Beretta against Jay White and Hikuleo. So that should be a pretty good show there really quick. Let's take a quick swig of water and let Brother Carter guess any of those guys is going to be showing up at the Forbidden Door really quick.
Yeah. Let's see who's going to be there. I would have guessed Tanahashi. I would guess probably Jay White, Juice Robinson, Will Ospreay. I don't know. I don't know if we're Trent Beretta. Does that mean we get to see more of Best Friends? Because if that's the case, I really don't want to see any more of Best. You know who may show up, Josh, is well, and we'll see what happens on Dynamite this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Pockets made an appearance at the Forbidden Door, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But I don't know, and quite frankly, Josh, I don't care. Is that bad?
No, it's not. You're entitled to opinion.
I don't care.
But Pockets against Toriano. The match will make me stop watching wrestling. It's bound to happen.
Oh God! Just as long as they don't do anything with Michael Naka the fuck off, then we'll be fine. But I wouldn't be surprised if they did something with him too. But all right, Josh, is it time?
Really quick. This one thing I wanted to mention as well. Best Super Junior starts on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Really quick, my prediction for that tour is either El Desperado or Ace Austin from Impact will win that tournament. So this bang out those questions for Chris and Lena there. So
Great.
Yes, it is time indeed, my friend.
Well, let's get it, Josh. We are about to get started with the main event segment of all main event segments, the greatest segment in all of wrestling podcasting, the segment we look forward to the most every week. It is What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? And we're going to get it started in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Beat your meat, 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 beat your meat.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW? Brought to you this week by everything. Brought to you this week by people who want to end their careers. Okay. All right, Josh. Let's get into it. What the hell is wrong with AEW, aka what isn't wrong with AEW? There is one thing I liked on the show this week. One. I'll say 1.5 things that I liked on the show. The only thing I liked on the show this week, Josh, from top to bottom, and you're right, AEW gets no credit for this because this is all MJF. But MJF stuff this week was incredible. I thought the Dark Side of the Ring vignette was hilarious. That was all great. I don't know why he got Jericho to do something for him. I like the line of, oh, he's paying me this much? Okay. I thought that was pretty funny.
You know what else I liked?
What's that?
What Kazarian saying that Sammy Guevara's vlog sucks.
Yeah, that was good too. Yeah, I like that. But I thought this was absolutely fantastic. MJF making a tease about him going to WWE in 2024. God, I hope that happens. He will make a ton of money and he will be a megastar in WWE. So I thought that was good. The only other thing, and I'll give this partial credit because I don't know if they intended to do this. When Adam Cole tuned up the band in a match that involved a member of the Hart family, I thought that was kind of a subtle, kind of dick move, heel heat, which I thought was actually kind of clever. Now, he probably didn't intend to do that because Adam Cole's stock has fallen faster than, when I flip meat, how fast it goes down to the pan. That was a horrible analogy, but the thing I could come up with. But that was a terrible analogy. I'm sorry about that. But Adam Cole sucks now. But Josh, that was all I liked about the show this week. Is there anything you enjoyed about the show this week?
I'll get to that in a couple minutes. Because I found this clip from an interview that MJF did today that I want to play here. So I'm going to pull that up while we get started with this. I will say this, though. I liked the Adam Cole Dax Harwood match, but I also thought it was a case of the crowd trying to make themselves more over than what the match actually was.
100%. Agreed.
So I liked the match, but for me, I thought the crowd was also taken away from it as well.
Yes, I agree with that. The match was fine. Like, it didn't bother me, in any way, shape, or form, but it wasn't a 6-star classic like it's probably going to get from Seltzer and Alvarez. I think JR got the Three Amigos and the German suplexes mixed up. I don't know if you noticed that because I think it might have been Harwood was given the suplexes and JR goes, "You got another one, amigo?" Like, those are two different moves. A German suplex and the Three Amigos are two different moves. Like, what was JR thinking? Well, but that was not JR's worst offense of the night. We're going to get to JR's worst offense of the night when we get to the main event, but I thought this was fine. All right. Okay. Do we want to get into this now, Josh, or do you want to move on to the CM Punk stuff? Okay. Let's
hold off on the Punk stuff really quick.
Okay.
Let everybody know what location JR thinks Double or Nothing's in. By the way, I don't know if you caught this last night. I think Jared has it kind of mixed up on where this pay-per-view is going to be on May 29th.
I didn't catch that. Where did he say it was going to be?
Chicago.
Oh, no. Now, okay, hold on. In JR's defense, it seems like AEW goes to Chicago like 12 times a year. So it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet.
I'll give you that. But him and Shivani were on one last night. My God, it
was terrible.
Bully shoot ugly last night.
It was awful. Shivani is the worst. Like, he is the worst. He's trying to be some weird mix of Mean Gene Okerlund and you know, I don't know, Byron Saxton. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Okay. Josh, let's get into the CM Punk stuff. Okay. You're going to have, okay. Here's what I wrote down. And you'll have to, someone explain to me the whole Islanders thing, which now fine. But here's what I wrote down. CM Punk wins with a buckshot lariat. And now Adam Page, who turned heel last week, is now confronting CM Punk as a face. But CM Punk is a face and has been acting like a heel tonight. What? Who am I supposed to cheer for in this match, Josh? Like, I have no idea. Page turns heel. Now he's a face. Punk has been a face this whole time, and now he's acting like a heel for some stupid reason. Can you explain this booking to me, Josh? I cannot figure out where they're going with this feud. I don't get it.
I'm still trying to figure it out myself, brother. And here's the thing. Not only that, we have John Silver, who's part of the Dark Order, who's supposed to be heels, but get cheered as baby faces. Oh, God, it's a clusterfuck. Oh, let's start off with this. Punk, coming off the Islander gear, is to still linger on and attach the stuff that he used to do with MGF. So it's him ribbing Long Island. Trying to get on the good side because they booed him out of the building the last time they were at the venue. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know who I'm supposed to cheer for at Double or Nothing. And this also wasn't a title match program that I was like, wow, there's real emotional investment into it. We got 3 more Dynamites before Double or Nothing. And will it be an awesome match? Sure. But again, like, what's the story here? What's the tip between these two guys?
Has there, and we've said this before, Josh, is there any professional wrestling company in the world whose world title means less than AEW?
Right.
Like,
and if you need to tell your angle that this is nothing personal, it's just business, you know you have yourself a transitional championship change.
Correct. Adam Page is the biggest example of a transitional champion that I've seen in years. Like, and it's unfortunate too, like, because I like Hangman Page. One other thing I'll say about this match, though, Josh, and I was actually, for some reason, I was impressed with John Silver. I think John Silver is actually pretty fluid in the ring and can do a lot despite his size. So now, granted, he had someone great to work with in CM Punk, but I actually thought Silver did a good job in this match and was very fluid. And so I thought that part about it was actually fine. But another match that was okay, I guess, sure. You know, Punk winning with the buckshot lariat, which I think was weird. And then again, I don't know who to cheer for in this feud. I have no reason to be invested in your world title. I don't care about your world championship. But this is the company that wins and losses matter, and world titles mean a lot. Okay.
A bunch of cap.
Okay, Josh. All right, hold on. Then we get the in-ring debut of Danhausen.
Oh, God.
There is nobody. I don't think I've been ever less excited about a debut than I was for Danhausen. Like, he's very good, very evil. What does Danhausen actually do that's of any value at all? No, Josh, stop cursing me. You don't get to curse. No, your cursing me does not work. That is, as director of operations and, you know, Sir Derico, I am amidst of all curses. That's what I do. Besides, we have a wizard that can take care of curses, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit.
Stop the pain.
Can you imagine if Danhausen and Chris Jericho ever get into like this weird kind of wizard? Anyways,
a wizard of mimosa.
Oh my god.
You know what's gonna happen too. I see the look on your face.
Oh, God.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Danhausen is the worst. He's fucking terrible. Tony Nese deserves way better than this. And then, for some reason, Hook, who we have not seen on Dynamite in how long, but yet somehow the crowd goes batshit crazy for this guy, comes out, and now for some reason, we're getting Hookhausen. And I'm like, I don't watch Rampage. I don't care about this feud. Why should I care about this? Like, Josh, this was awful. I hated every bit of this. What did you think?
I get they're trying to do a strange Bedfellows friendship here with Hook and Danhausen, but there's just some stuff in professional wrestling that I just can't suspend my disbelief with.
No.
I'm sorry. And I don't know how you're trying to pass off Hook as this protege of his own father, who was a no BS, no filter type of dude back in the day. It'd be like Taz hanging out with fucking Gilbert or Gangrel or something during the time period. Like, come on now. Like who are we fooling here?
Right.
I just thought it was complete nonsense and a waste of time. And also, Mark Sterling's a stooge and a clown. Can you get this dude off my television for the love of God?
Well, what is his, like, I thought he was only with Jade Cargill, and now he's somehow getting involved with the with Danhausen and with Tony Nese, and now with at MJF. Like, what is
the only reason he's there is because he's from the East Coast. That's the whole thing.
Oh my God. I don't believe this.
God, it's ridiculous.
It was awful.
What happened after that?
All right, let's move on. Okay, now we get to a segment that we cared about, the MJF Wardlow segment. I thought this was terrific. It continues to be the only saving grace of AEW every week is MJF. They're obviously booking Wardlow to be a star. I liked them taking off the handcuffs so that he could sign it. I thought that was great. MJF knows how to play a crowd better than almost anybody in professional wrestling right now. All that stuff was great. How he was sucking up to the Long Island crowd, even taking the shots like, "Hey, you're in the cheap seats. You're poor, but I still love you." I thought that was a great line.
You know how I texted you last night how he was winking towards the crowd when he said that.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was awesome. So this was fantastic. Though my only question is, why does MJF keep hiring these security guards? Like, they're clearly incompetent and can't hold Wardlow.
Hey, he's a gracious man. Give some people some money.
Good point.
It's kind of like Paul Heyman getting all these security guards for Brock Lesnar when he shows up.
Good point.
Hey.
But no, I thought this was great. My only thing is this, like, how are they going to be able to sustain this all the way to Double or Nothing? Because you're telling me that Sean Spears is going to be competition for Wardlow? Like, no. But again, and then my other thing, Josh, is once this is over, are they going to be able to sustain Wardlow as a single star? Like, I worry he's going to fall by the wayside. You know, I hope I'm wrong, because I think Wardlow has potential, but I just don't know.
You know what? Something tells me that the way it's going right now, I can see it right now where Paige beats CM Punk at Double or Nothing, and MJF beats Wardlow, and MJF gets the title off of Hangman.
Wow.
That's what I would do if I was running things. But knowing them, Wardlow would win in 8 minutes, and CM Punk would win the title, and then go off there. And MJF would probably feud with Dante Martin the next week.
Well, here's the problem, though, Josh. They've backed themselves into a corner because MJF has said if you lose, you cannot sign a contract with All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah,
and they're obviously pushing Wardlow to be a big star. So,
well, what about Mr. Big Bucks, the guy that got more money than Meek Mahan? You can't buy the contract.
Oh, that's a good point. Oh, wait, that means he gets put with. Oh no,
He'll be a big.
Oh,
no, teaser's a big announcement.
Wardlow's going to join the AFO. Oh my God.
No.
Okay, let's move on before we even. Okay. And we get another backstage segment with Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, really quick. I had the MJF clip here.
Oh, sorry. Yes, let's play that. I'm so sorry.
This is from Wrestling with Brandon Walker from Barstool Sports. This is something I was listening to this morning. Latest interview from NJF. Hope you enjoyed this.
Yes.
Get back to Jersey.
I can't wait to leave this company. How about that? Oh,
Do you mean?
Oh no! Oh no! Hope that doesn't ruffle any feathers in the office. Oh no!
So you are talking about AEW? I thought you meant this present company.
Who
right
said
here.
AEW? I didn't say AEW.
Oh no! You
just said AEW.
You said this company.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm in a shit mood. Maybe I hate my boss. Maybe I fucking love my boss.
What's so magical about
Who's
Long
to
Island?
say? Long Island, man.
He's unbelievable. God, he's so good. God, he is so good. He would be a perfect fit in WWE, and WWE would be smart to pay him a lot of money.
And you want he's I guess you want me to talk about 2024? I'm sure
No, right.
backstage does it.
That was great. That was really good. Props to them. But okay, let's go ahead. All right, and we get another backstage segment with Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt, and I don't know why I'm supposed to care about this at all because we don't see them in the ring. So this was, again, whatever. Ricky Starks against defending his title against Jungle Boy, which I thought this match was fine. Why did Swerve Strickland come out there?
Oh God!
What was the point of that?
They can't leave well enough alone. Can't have one match go without some fucking afterbirth brawl or confusion on the outside, which leads into another match. So basically, I'm guessing is that we're gonna have a triple threat tag at Double or Nothing. It's the Jungle Express against T-Taz against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland because Keith and Swerve still have issues with T-Taz. Everybody's egos are out of control. Jungle Boy has an ego. Don't let his youth confuse you or sway you the other way. He has an ego. Christian Cage, of course, an egomaniac. I don't know, Brett Carter. I thought that whole setup was very sloppy in the execution, and I thought that was not a good part of the show.
No, I didn't enjoy it at all either. Speaking of terrible parts of the show, next we get the Jericho Appreciation Society. And they come out and do this victory speech. Jake Hager looks like a fucking idiot at everything that he does. Like walking around going, he looks like a moron. I've said this before. I now see why NXT released Everrise. They're terrible.
Yes.
That was I was shocked by that, but again, NXT management knowing more than we do, obviously. Then for some reason, Jon Moxley comes out. And now the Blackpool Combat Club is going to get involved along with Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz against the Jericho Appreciation Society for some stupid reason. The only reason I can see is because they have nothing else for them to do, and we're going to get some 10-man tag at Double or Nothing with the JAS versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston and Santana and or Ortiz. Like, I don't. This was awful, Josh. And now Chris Jericho explains why he's called the Wizard, because he throws fireballs in people's faces. God,
He's Wizard because he's full of his own shit.
That could be too, but this was. It's so sad to see what's happened to Chris Jericho, man. He is a shell of himself. He sucks. He's terrible. He needs to hang it up because it's just embarrassing at this point watching him perform. It's awful.
Well, they're not doing football fuckery, right? Like this pay-per-view's in Vegas. They're not gonna just, Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know why Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson have to be added to that match. It's weird. Wheeler Yutta's not going to be there on TV over the next couple weeks because he's going to be in that Best of Super Juniors tournament. So, God, for sure, feuds never go anywhere.
Nope.
Next.
Yep. Okay. All right. And then because Tony Khan formats the same show, we get the women's match right before the main event. It happens every week.
Yes.
So we get this. We get Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm in a train wreck. They completely butchered the ending. And then they're all like, oh, and she hits the Storm Zero. That was not a Storm Zero. That was a botch.
Yes.
And Excrement is a moron.
Oh,
And,
can I say this really quick about Excalibur?
yes.
When they do those reads towards the end of what the matches that are coming up on Rampage or the next week, my God, more power to you that you can read all that off. I can too, but he's so annoying and so off about it. It makes my ears bleed. It's so cringy.
But yet he's announcer of the year.
2 time, back to back.
You want further proof that the Wrestling Observer newsletter has the most biased and bought awards in the world. It's whatever. But anyways, I hated this, Josh. This match was not good. And now we get to the main event. The Tumblefest garbage death match bullshit between, well, it's not death match, but this garbage wrestling between Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy. Josh, when Darby Allin started setting up the chairs, I went, here we go. If Darby Allin would have missed by 6 inches, his career would have been over because of that, of what would have been done to his back. And Darby Allin is a fantastic athlete. I think he is one of the pillars of AEW. Could be a world champion because I think he's a very good wrestler. But what the hell was the point of taking that unnecessary bump from that high up? Like, and then Jeff Hardy's trying to do it too. Like, why? And the wrong person won. Why did the veteran who's been there clearly to start bringing up the next young talent get the victory unless they're going to feed him to Adam Cole? But I did not like this. I thought this was terrible. I thought this was, I thought it was unnecessarily dangerous. And I didn't like this at all.
Oh boy. You like to remind me what last night's SO was supposed to be?
I don't know. Well, I'm guessing an Owen Hart tribute getting started to the Owen Hart Cup, but that's about it.
Yeah, you're getting to the right where I want to go here. Right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, by the way, happy belated birthday to Owen Hart as well. I met another May 7th birthday. So shout out to Owen Hart.
Yes.
I've been in all full endorsement for this tournament and everything that's behind it. I had no qualms about it, no issues. I don't even have an issue with the fact that AEW is doing the tournament. But last night left a disgusting taste in my mouth. And look, what happened in 1999 was an accident that should never, ever happen. And it's obviously one of the worst things that's happened in professional wrestling. And I think for me, for them to have Owen Hart's wife in the building, to watch these two guys have that reckless of a match in the main event is sickening and disgusting, to be honest with you. But I should be surprised because AEW can't have a tournament or it can't have a Dynamite show without some hardcore bullshit attached to it. They can't help themselves.
Correct.
They just can't help themselves. So, yeah, of course, Jeff Hardy beats Darby Allin.
But also, Josh, JR called this one of the greatest matches he'd ever seen.
Yeah. He's going to say the same thing next week when Orange Cassidy fights Samoa Joe. Anyways, like I was saying, yeah, of course, Jeff Hardy beats Darby Allin. This all sets up for Adam Cole next week to win with help of the Young Bucks. And we get the Hardys and the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. Whoopity-doo. Yep. Maybe people could say I'm overreacting or reaching with my take there, but I just think, to have that reckless of a match where the injury history of Jeff Hardy And Darby Allin, openly taunts about it and flaunts about the fact that he's going to have a short career because what he does to his body. I don't get that. I really don't.
I don't get it either.
It's unfortunate because that's the first night of the tournament, and the women were basically in the who gives a shit part of the show before the main event. And the main event's a fucking tumbleweed fest with stupid spots onto chair contraptions. Jeff Hardy's doing a Miss Swanton on ring stairs. Oh, we just have to have a hardcore match because there was no buildup for Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy. That's a shame, but that's AEW, so what else is new?
Josh, you got anything else?
No, double or nothing's not going to be worth people what they're going to charge them for pay-per-views.
Oh, God, no.
Say that.
No, that company is not getting a dime of my money on that pay-per-view. Not a chance. All right, Josh, you ready to get out of here?
Yes, I am.
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Can I go home now?
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this week for this another solid edition of the Hoots podcast. As always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. If you can, leave us a 4 or 5 star review and rating on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Josh Lopez Media. You'll find the Hoots podcast right there. It gives you all of our video episodes as well, video editions. Make sure to follow Brother Carter at Twitter at Derek Stoughton at Jericho06. That's Jericho with a D on Instagram. And make sure to check out DerekStoughton.com as well.
The only thing I'll say is the only reason that was a nickname I had growing up. That's the only reason I use it. It is no homage to the leader of the JAS. Let me just say that.
Yes. Really quick, I do want to mention next week I'm not going to be on the show, so Brooke Hart will be holding the reins down for me. But like I said in the beginning of the show, if you want to be part of the show and hang out with Brooke Hart and be part of that episode, reach out to him and I can't say there's the exact date when we release the episode. I'd leave it up to those guys. We'll go from there. But Brooke Hart will be running the ship next week, and it should be a fun show as always. So
can't wait. This is my first time to host a podcast. Looking forward to it, man. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Enjoy your time off, Brother Adam. Enjoy your much-deserved week off and time off. We will make sure that the ship is, because I am now the mast that keeps the ship afloat. I am the rudder. I am the anchor. We're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling. So we will take good care of your baby, and it will be back next in 2 weeks when you're back.
Yes. So for Sir Derico, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 309 of the Hoots podcast. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Enjoy Capital Collision. We'll be back here next week for the Hoots podcast. Yes, sir.
Sir. Hey.